Okay, so basically I went to one of the biggest cities in my country, right? So the biggest city in my country is Amsterdam. Amsterdam is just full on degeneracy. Like we literally have a day, I don't know how it's called. I don't even want to speak about it, but we basically have a day where gay people step on the fucking boat half naked, and I don't know, they're fucking dancing and doing some degenerate stuff, I don't know. And people can watch it. I've never seen it before, but I've seen it on like videos. I'm proud that I've never seen it before. Let's put it that way. Then there's like prostitution there, people selling you drugs and all that stuff. I don't know. I wouldn't live in Amsterdam. Let's just put it that way. Then we got another big city. It's called Rotterdam. And this city is just full of like wannabe gangsters. Basically, they all have like their hoods up, all face covered, and I don't know. They're just cool people, right? And I don't know. I think most of them actually wear like have like knives and all that stuff, but I don't know. I realized that most of these people are from outside countries as well, so like countries not from the Netherlands, basically. Then I went to The Hague. I think that's how you call it in English. I don't know. I went to The Hague, right? For work. And the first day I actually arrived there, I was like 1 hour early because I didn't know where the fuck to go. I'd been in The Hague like 5 times before, but I was like 9 or something like that. So I didn't exactly know where to go, right? I went to I went with the tram. I stepped outside of the station and it was so fucking busy. Like people in a fucking hurry everywhere. Then I started walking a little bit, but I didn't know what direction to go into. And I wasn't really stressing because I had an hour, right? Then I was just like, all right, let me just ask somebody who is here where to go, right? So I spoke to a stranger and I asked her like, "Can I ask you a question?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course she's going to say yes." She literally says no. Like, and I'm like, "What the fuck is this? Why can I even ask you a question, bro?" Well, later on, I realized there are so many salesmen out there, and I was going to be a salesman as well, right? So I was part of the problem, but there were so many salespeople out there that people didn't even want to speak to each other. That's so fucking crazy. I don't know about you, but I think that's crazy. So then I just went into a shop and I went to ask the cashier, like, can you tell me where this place is? They didn't even know, bro. They didn't even know. It was like 500 meters away. That's crazy. I know exactly everywhere. If somebody asks me like, "Oh, can you tell me how to get to the other side of the city?" I know the exact roads they should take. They didn't. So I don't know. I couldn't really ask people there. It just felt weird. It was like you're in such a big city. There's people everywhere around you. I couldn't even walk on the roads that I was supposed to walk on because it was so busy. But it felt lonely for some reason because there's so many people, but you can't speak to them. I don't know. So then I was walking a little bit further and I saw some like restaurants and all that stuff. But what stood out to me a lot is that there are so many crackheads, but also so many shops. Like you've got like night shops and all that stuff where selling like prime drinks and basically like weed and I don't know. They're selling crazy things, right? Um, but then you also just literally, I think I've seen in that city alone, and I haven't seen the entire city, right? I've only seen a couple of places. I think I've seen like 7 vape shops. seven, like four. I think they called it like mushy mart or mushroom or something like that. I don't know. But basically just a drug shop, right? Um, I wasn't used to that shit because I don't have that in my city. In my city, it's every like the shops are kind of clean. Of course, we've got like one or two night shops or something like that, but not like a shop where you just could literally sell drugs. I don't know. It was just weird. And then you had like vape shops everywhere. Like there were literally vape shops next to each other. Think about that. I don't know. I thought it was so crazy. And there were also like fun things, right? You also had like some nice restaurants and all that stuff. But I don't know. The streets it felt so fucking dirty. And then fuck me, I can still remember. I arrived at kind of like the street I was supposed to work on, right? So basically here you have like the main street with all like the shopping centers and all that stuff. And then you have kind of like a side street. It was like this narrow street. I don't know the exact word, but it was like this very narrow street that it was like dark and all that stuff. Um, I enter it, and the first thing I see is a gay flag. And I'm like, what the fuck is this place, man? I don't know. I was already kind of biased when I saw all the Ukraine flags and all the people in there were like, nobody looked normal, basically. I don't know. Maybe that's just my, I don't know. Maybe I'm just not normal, but eh, the first thing I saw was this pride flag, right? Um, on the door there, I I saw this text like, "Don't come in if you're homophobic, I don't know, a lot of phobics. I saw a lot of phobics. I can't even remember. But don't come in if you're homophobic, dysphobic, phobic. Um, then the last sentence was like an asshole, and I was like, this isn't funny. I don't want to be here. It just looks weird. And then I look who's sitting at that bar, and I see this. I don't even know if you can call it a person, but I see this thing that's like you know, a drag queen. It's a drag queen. I saw this drag queen. I don't know. I don't feel comfortable seeing that in like public. I don't know. I don't I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I I don't feel comfortable having that in my fucking face, bro. Ah, and I'm not supposed to talk about all of this shit, but I don't know. It just felt so weird, and then everything felt dirty. All the people all there they all had like blue hair, red hair, like these way too baggy clothes and all that stuff. Like I don't know, the everybody I worked with, I think I worked with like 20 people. They literally all were smoking. I was the only one that wasn't smoking. Think about that. That's crazy. Even like I think you could work there when you were like 16, right? So even the 16-year-olds, they were all smoking. They were all like partying, like all the people there, they knew exactly where you could party and all that stuff. And I don't know, it wasn't a lifestyle that I wanted to live. Basically, now you also, of course, had some people from just my country, the Netherlands, basically. And I asked them like, would you like to live in here in the future? And they were like, yeah, I love this. And they wouldn't want to live in my city, basically, because they said it was like way too quiet, it wasn't fun. And I agree, like I used to party a little bit in here, right? it's not really something special, to be honest. But now I don't really care because I don't party anymore. So I actually I like that it's like clean here. It just feels when I look outside, I just see like water. I see grass. I just I think it looks amazing outside right now. I don't know. Also, another thing I noticed is that it was like everybody was in a hurry. So I used to be very on time, right? I because I used to walk, so I was like basically the tram stopped here and I could go with the tram, but I decided like why not go for a walk, right? I'll walk there, and everybody seemed in a hurry, and I felt so peaceful just not being in a hurry. But also like everybody, nobody looked at you, nobody looked at you in the eyes, nobody saw like I just felt like a fucking ghost, bro. I'm not even going to lie to you. If right there I was walking and I came across somebody, I would just look them in the eyes, say hello. I don't know. It's just to me that's like basic manners, right? But there it wasn't. I don't know. Then when it turned night, so sometimes I used to go home at like 2 p.m. or something like that, right? Because I used to work very late, basically. Most of the time was like 12 p.m., sometimes 9 p.m., but sometimes it was like 2 a.m. as well, right? And there were always people sleeping on the street, people coming to you begging for money, and I don't know, it just felt like a filled city basically. And I think I was actually part of the problem because I was selling, right? I was selling to people on the streets. Now my main job was actually going door to door, so that wasn't that much of a problem. But I think I was part of the problem by going onto the streets and selling a job to these people. Um, I think the lesson for this video is you might know or you think you might know already where you want to live in the future, right? You might say like, "Oh, I want to live in this big city or I want to live here." I think you should experience everything. I think you should experience big cities, but also like kind of normal cities like I'm living in right now. But then also experience like what it feels like to live in a fucking village or in like very tight cities, right? Or I don't know how you call it. Not cities, but I think it's villages. Actually, villages they look even more peaceful to me. But I think that you need to experience everything in order to make a good decision, right? And I think it's with everything in life. I think you should because when I saw this on like social media and stuff, like these big cities, they look so good to me. They look so hyped up and all that stuff, and I was like, oh yeah, man, this is so sick. Everybody's the bikes, and you see the like waters, and the houses look beautiful. But then when you actually get there, you're like, ah, fuck, I really don't want to live here. And the only way that I knew this is because I've been there. It's the same way with every big city I've been to so far. So yeah, man, I just wanted to tell you the only reason or the only thing. Wait, how do I even say this, bro? If you just expect something, make sure to think or to not expect too much of it. Expect different things from it because you never know how it's going to be like. So I don't know, man. I think we should just experience more in general as well. Because imagine I didn't experience it. I might have thought like, oh yeah, this big city is amazing, right? Because you see all these tourist photos and all that stuff. But there's always two sides of things, right? There's a good side and a bad side. I I even believe it's in my city as well. You have the good side and you kind of have a side where more murders. I think it's very high. I think it's actually one of the highest in my country. I think it was even on the fucking news or stuff like that that murders be very high here. But yeah, man, I think there's always two sides on things, and I think we should look for the positive side, but I think we should also see how we can improve the negative side. And if we can't improve the negative side, then I still think we should improve our attitude towards the negative side, basically. Because you might not be able to change things, but you can change how you look at certain things, how you view certain things. Because if I were to go there again, I would be like, yeah, fine, nice. Because there are things like it looks fun when you see like these shopping centers and all that stuff. I don't know, it just looks like people are having fun. It looks like the big shopping centers. I like those as well, but yeah, I wouldn't really go there without a reason, right? Because I don't really like to. But if I had to, I would be still like, oh yeah, let's because it's my attitude towards it. I think that's an important lesson for this video. That's also how I'm going to end this. Thank you for watching. I've got a free school community. You can check it out. Subscribe to all the YouTube stuff, and I'll see you in the next video.